guys, welcome to our chat. Do feel free to share your audio messages so that we can hear those and talk about it too. But basically, we wanted to jump on here and talk a bit about Charli D'Amelio and the recent kind of situation that arose from her family's dinner interview guest show that happened on YouTube, and basically how we've now gotten to a point where death threats seem to be being normalized online. If you don't know what happened, Charli D'Amelio is a TikToker. She is the most followed TikToker with just under 100 million followers. Before this latest video went live, she had about 99.6 million followers, so she was incredibly close to getting 100 million. Since this video aired, she has actually lost a few million followers as a result, and has started receiving death threats.
This is messed up stuff that people are saying. Like, people telling me to hang myself, people just like blatantly disrespecting the fact that I'm still a human being is not okay at all. And people making fun of the fact that it's just like, that's not okay. You can hate on me for whatever I've done, but the fact that all of this is happening because a misunderstanding, like, I just feel like that's not okay. And if this is the community that I'm in and the community that I put myself in, I don't know if I want to do that anymore.
Why she started receiving death threats? Well, just to let you know, in this video, that is basically Charli sitting down with her sister Dixie and her parents, and they have a private chef to cook them a meal, and they have a guest. They had James Charles. It was a thing. Good job! In this video, the chef decided to put snails into the food because he knew that Dixie D'Amelio would try the snails and would most likely throw them up because that was probably what she was going to do. So he did it purposefully for an entertaining reaction.
Somebody on production thought it would be funny to feed Dixie and Charlie snails.
Charli is getting hate for some reason because Dixie decided to be very dramatic and throw up the snails that she didn't like. And Charli is being punished for it. On top of that, Charli mentioned how she wants 100 million followers by the end of the year as a goal. She thinks it would be really cool to go from having 1 million and then a year later to get to 100 million. And bearing in mind she was on 99.6 million followers at the time, it's a very normal thing for content creators online to have targets to say, hey, I really want to get to 100,000 by the end of the year. So please do subscribe if you're enjoying my content. I've never seen people get hate for doing that. James Charles made a remark saying, oh, was the 95 million not enough for you? That was clearly a joke. Like, really clearly a joke. Then Charli made a joke again of saying, do we have dino nuggets? Because she wanted chicken nuggets over the food that the private chef, who is a family friend, had prepared for them. As a result of this, Charli D'Amelio started receiving a literal ton of death threats. People telling her to hang herself, people telling her to kill herself. And the real question is why? Like, just very quickly, Zoe Laverne is also a big TikToker, and it's come to light that she has had a very inappropriate relationship with a 13-year-old, bearing in mind Zoe is 19-year-old. See, that's actually a genuine, potentially predatory problem. I haven't heard of Zoe Laverne getting death threats or people telling her to go kill herself. So why is it that she, who is actually potentially a predator, isn't getting told to kill themselves, and Charli is getting told to kill herself over chicken nuggets?
Well, I thought we were going to talk about, just the Charli situation, but, internet death threats aren't new. They're just something that have been around since whenever somebody decided to death threat someone. And I don't know why that happened. It was just one of those things where at some point, inevitably, someone decided, oh, I could use the internet as an anonymous entity to send somebody a death threat. Whether there was malice or play at hand, it might be that there's something geared in us to want to threaten people, It seems a very odd thing to do. And then unfortunately we end up with the ultimate form of internet taboo is to threaten someone, to ask them to kill themselves. As to why that's happening, it's just a phenomenon. It's just a very strange internet phenomenon. There's something about humans seem to like conflict, and the kind of conflict that they can generate and scandalize because of the way that they can use the internet just as a platform to say, hey, you should kill yourself. It has happened. It has become a thing. It's not new, unfortunately. Couldn't say when it started and why it started, but it's just something that tragically is a part of our existence as we're now citizens of the internet. And Charli D'Amelio is a very prime example and a famous example of someone who is just suffering from the phenomenon that people in the media, the mainstream media, have suffered from since they became celebrities.
Well, yeah, but I think that one of the big issues here is that Charli is only 16 years old. Like, who thinks it's ever okay to turn around to a 16-year-old and be like, yeah, go kill yourself?
I have to admit, I'm quite, a long way away from schoolyard bullying, but I don't think that, when you were in school, saying someone should die was something that happened. This is a face-to-face actual conversation that may have happened at some point when a bully is confronted with their victim, and they would say, oh, you should, go kill yourself. I don't really understand what the motivation is.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Because I don't consider myself a bully, and I can't really put myself in the mindset of someone who feels the need to want someone else to actually harm themselves or to do anything to themselves. But I think that the outrageous, outlandish statements that come about on the internet, everyone is looking to one-up the next person. They're looking for shock value. They're looking for saying something controversial that they think, oh, I'm going to be slightly more controversial than the last person. And the last person said something horrible, so I've got to one-up that. And we get to the point where, after enough one-up, you get to the point where, what is the last thing I can threaten? What is the last thing I can say? And it's like, you should kill yourself.
Yeah, but you're right. On TikTok recently, there was a rather famous singer, musician who basically got chased off the platform for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And it does seem that on TikTok, there seems to be people that are so desperate to get the top comment or the most outrageous comment and the most sensationalized comment. But why?
Just what do you want, a fucking medal?
Why do they feel the need to do that? And why do they think, telling someone to kill themselves is absolutely acceptable? Like, if TikTok truly has the young audience demographic, if we're thinking teenagers, I never experienced anyone telling me to go kill myself when I was at school. And again, I'm quite far removed from school bullying, but I just don't think that's a normal thing that people do. And I think it's a problem. And I think people even getting to the point, Chris, like you, where you're like, well, yeah, but that's just like an accepted thing that people do now. That doesn't make it okay. That still makes it a problem. And I hate to throw this out there because I know that it's a very big deal, but if a 16-year-old is getting thousands of people telling them to go kill themselves, it's not completely outside the realm of possibility that she might get so overwhelmed that she might actually do it.
No, but I think you've proved your own point though, haven't you? It's actually that people are going for the reaction. They're going for the shock. They're going for the awe. They're going for, okay, what can I say? How can I, as a anonymous entity against this person who has nearly 100 million followers, how can I stand out in that army of people? Because 100 million people is not the type of number of people that you can really conceptualize. That is a country's size. That's a lot of smaller countries conglomerated together. it's so many people that the mind would not be able to cope with the image of 100 million people standing in a space. So you get to the point where it's like, how does my voice in this massive sea, this army of crowd of people who are all trying to get this celebrity's attention, how do I get the attention of this person? And unfortunately, with like political assassinations and things like that, you have to do something outlandish. You have to go somewhere outlandish. You have to do something that breaks a taboo. You have to say something that is completely and utterly out there. And unfortunately, we get stuck on the negative comment. We get stuck on, people will say things that are negative because it gets more of a reaction than something that's positive. I mean, us talking about it now is, exactly what the reaction might have been for. People to talk about it, people to talk about the subject of, is it ever okay, to threaten someone? Is it ever okay to want someone to kill themselves? And where did we get to that? How did we get to this point?
Yeah, but I think, obviously my background is, my mum did commit suicide when I was a child. So I guess obviously I am very much affected by this kind of thing, and potentially more than everyone else. But if we look at what happened with Caroline Flack and the kind of death threats and comments that she was getting for supposedly abusing her boyfriend, which apparently she actually never did, she was a fully grown-ass adult woman, and she couldn't handle the hate she was getting, and she ended up taking her own life. So suddenly, imagine someone half Caroline Flack's age, a 16-year-old, suddenly having thousands of people saying, go kill yourself. Like, I don't know many 16-year-olds that would be able to deal with thousands of people telling them to kill themselves. And I feel like people are forgetting that these content creators online are actually real people. And I think that's a problem.
But that's the other point, though, isn't it? Is that, if you have 100 million people, shouting and tweeting at you, and they are trying to get your attention. These fans of these celebrities, there are a percentage of them that want their attention. They want to know that their celebrity has noticed them. We've had stalkers, we've had all sorts of things like that. We've had all sorts of crimes related to celebrities and their stalkers. And this is the new medium. This is the new thing, is that there is the internet. People want to be noticed by their celebrity. And given that there's 100 million people, that's hard to get noticed in that massive crowd, that army of people. How do you get noticed as an anonymous entity, anonymous person who is wanting to
Speaking of anonymous, we actually have a message from a listener. So let's hear what they have to say. Sorry to cut you off, Chris. It's just I want to hear what they have to say.
It's raining sideways. Bring me some soup. Chunky.
That was interesting, to say the least. Okay. Continue, Chris, with what you were saying.
Yeah, so I was saying that, the anonymous person, the fan, they're not a person in terms of what the celebrity's gaze is going to be able to comprehend. They have 100 million people who they want to try and treat equally, but they're not. They can't. It's not possible for a celebrity to look at the 100 million or nearly 100 million people and think, I'm going to give each one of these a little bit of my time, because if a celebrity tried to do it, it would take them 110 years to give each of them sort of a few seconds. It's the amount of time it would take for them to do anything to respond to each of those people individually would take that amount of time. So the frustration of the fan is that I have to do something. I need to do something to be noticed, to get noticed. And each person is trying to outdo the previous person. And there are only so many things you can do. And of the however many million people, you end up with every single time a person is trying to do one better than the last person, more shock value, more, negativity, more hate, more spite, more power, more potency in the message, until you reach the point where there's nothing more you can say. There's nothing more you can do. It's just, this is the level you've got to, where the fan competing to be noticed by the celebrity is, I will want you to kill yourself because I am not being noticed. I am nothing to you. I don't exist to you, but I want to. I'm desperate to. I need to exist to you, but you don't notice me. You can't notice me because there's too many other voices that are shouting and screaming for attention.
Okay, but you mentioned stalkers there, but the thing is that if we think about 2020, yes, a lot of people are super stressed this year. A lot of people have are experiencing heightened emotions this year. People are being locked up, in their homes, and people have a lot more time. And I think that allows the ability for people to engage with online creators much more. And they're not being able to socialize and see their friends, etc., as they usually would. So maybe the need to be seen online is more. But who wants to be noticed by someone they like for saying kill yourself? Who wants that? Most people would want to be seen by someone they idolize or someone they look up to because they said something so nice, because they said something that was smart, that was witty, that was interesting to that influencer, not kill yourself.
And the flip side, unfortunately, though, is that it doesn't get the reaction. The positivity, the nice comments, the mass, the horde of people saying, we love you, we think you're great, you're amazing, you're so talented, all of these wonderful, lovely, glowing comments that radiate through the majority, the mass of the fandom. There are so many of them. They're all the same. They're all similar. There's nothing about them that people feel stands out because the reaction is not the same. It's not the capacity of shock value is there in a negative comment. It's not there in a positive comment. You can't shock someone with a positive comment. You have to shock them with a negative comment. And because you can shock them with a negative comment, you can get the reaction. You can get the spark of interest, which is tragically just the way that the human psyche seems to be geared, is that we notice the negative comment and we ignore, there's probably hundreds of millions, more than that, of positive comments, love, feedback, likes, double taps, whatever is required. There's so much of that it becomes nothingness. It becomes a massive homogenized blob of nothingness. The celebrity will just gaze through it because they've seen so much of it, so much the same, that it's only the stuff that shocks them, that horrifies them, that they're actually then noticing. And then after they've been doing it for some time, they'll notice it more and more because of the fact they're already in the mindset of looking for something that's going to shock them, looking for something that is a reaction. And unfortunately, the positivity and love and the kindness and the nice side of the fandom are also getting ignored. So that's, a massive amount of these people who want to be noticed for their positive comments, and they're being ignored because of the fact the shock is there, the reaction is there.
And we see this on YouTube too, that negative comments or negative headlines, negative commentary videos tend to do a whole lot better than positive videos. It just seems to be something that our psyches, for some reason, want to see negative commentary. But if we're talking about people wanting to be seen, in this instance, especially with what's happened with Charli D'Amelio, there are thousands of these death threats. So you're not even going to get noticed for a death threat because there's so many of them at this point. So it really calls to question, and it really it disturbs me that these people are so desperate to be seen that they don't care about whether they're seen for horrible things. And the worst thing is they're so obsessed with, if we go from your logic, Chris, and we say that they're just so eager and so keen to be seen and to be noticed, are they not even considering for a second the psychological impact that could have on a 16-year-old? Is it so much more important for them to be seen and noticed that they would rather risk the well-being of this person that they like over not being seen by them at all?
I think it's a matter of scales, isn't it? I think if you were in a room with 10 people, and you said something and someone said something rude to you, you might have the courage to deal with that immediately and be like, hey, that's rude. Why are you saying that? Let's not. And move on and come to some sort of amicable need of the group of you to kind of resolve that problem. But even in a group of 10 people, you'll end up with 2 people, maybe more, who don't really like each other, not for any particular reason. And that then starts to separate the group. And then you end up with, if you multiply that up to 100 people, you multiply that up to 1,000 people, the more you multiply it up, the more extreme and radicalized these opinions get. And it is a competition. It is like, I need to compete, because in life you're competing. In life you're born onto the planet and you're competing for money, you're competing for fame, you're competing for all sorts of interesting commodities that you want in life. And some reason you can't satisfy that, so you're craving this etheric commodity that is internet celebrity. And Charli D'Amelio is craving it. That's why she's trying to get herself up to 100 million fans. And the entirety of YouTube is craving it, because they're trying to, share their life, their story, their perspective. Everyone on TikTok is trying to share a piece of themselves, a piece of their life, a piece of their, story, so that they can join in with the group, join in with the herd, join in with the mass, and say, this is me. I'm, immortal because I've shared this piece of myself at this moment in time, and it will be stored for however long, the internet is an entity, however long human civilization, carries on. But within that, you have the flip side, that it is harder and harder. It's more and more challenging for even the Charli D'Amelios of the world to compete. She's got to one up herself. She's trying to grow as a creator. She's trying to be better than herself yesterday, which means that the scale she's using to measure her talent or her ability or whatever is how many followers she has. And she's got a limited capacity of experience, given that she's only been on the planet for 16 years, presumably only been on the internet for, I don't know really these days what, kids probably start using the internet at 9.
Okay, boomer.
In some countries, especially in America, it's probably that you're obsolete if you haven't started using the internet at a very young age. So, we are channeled down this funnel and pipe into a position where it's like, you are going to compete, and you're going to compete on the most extreme gladiatorial, theatre that there is, because every single person who is connected to the internet is competing with you. Every single person who is a user on TikTok is competing with you. So it's the most extreme form of, media. It's the most extreme form of personal, anonymous media, because anyone can go on TikTok, anyone can get an account, anyone can compete with all of the other people on there. And someone who's competing at the 100 million followers level has to be the ultimate extreme expression of what it is that those, presumably largely teenage people are looking for.
Okay, boomer.
And teenage people go through, rebellious stages. They go through turmoil. They go through massive changes physiologically and cognitively. They become, more capable of rational thought and things like that. But while they're forming those foundations, or they're forming those ethical standards and those inner core beliefs, they aren't stable. They aren't in a situation where they have maturity. They have their very limited life view and experience, and they're herded together with all these, millions of others and expected to try and understand and cope with a completely evolving form of ethics and morality. The internet doesn't really have ethics and morality anymore because you can buy whatever you want. Everything is a commodity, especially, a TikTok celebrity's fame is a commodity.
Yeah, but still, it doesn't change regardless of age, a teenager knows that telling another teenager to kill themselves isn't okay. Even if you can argue still growing, still learning, like morality, still trying to understand ethics and what's acceptable and what's not. Teenagers know that telling someone to kill themselves isn't okay. And these people aren't even all teenagers. In fact, I would probably argue that a lot of them are probably actually adults, because Charli has been known to get some really unfair commentary since she's been on the platform. People have called her fat, people have called her too thin, people have called her a slut for wearing a bikini at the beach. And a lot of these people aren't teenagers, they're adults. But the thing that concerns me is that I feel like a lot of this has to just come from jealousy. And if that's the case, why, what does that say about human beings if we are letting jealousy corrupt us to this extent? This girl Charli, she's not even a commentary channel on YouTube, she's not a vlogging channel on YouTube, she's nothing like that. She literally is just on TikTok dancing. That is what Charli D'Amelio is famous for. She is famous for dancing on TikTok. That doesn't involve any commentary, speaking in any way or anything. So why so much hate towards someone who is literally just dancing to music on one platform? And if it is just jealousy, what does that mean? And actually, I would take it even further and ask the question if actually TikTok is partly to blame for the way that their algorithm works, by making it very, very difficult for new people to grow. So they get jealous, they try to sensationalize their comments in the hopes that people see it, and as a result they might, it would work a bit like clickbait. You click onto their comment, it goes through to their personal profile, and then maybe they gain some followers as a result of their sensationalized comments. Is it just a way to grow now? Is it a way to try and trick the algorithm into people accepting you and people seeing your content, when TikTok's algorithm prevents a lot of people from being shot to stardom?
Absolutely. I think you have, for your own self, have worked out why it is people are doing it, what they're trying to achieve, and how they're utilizing the negative side of the platform to go against.
That makes sense to me.
In terms of describing Charli D'Amelio as a non-human entity, I would guess, a lot of people see her as something, like plastic, or they see her very much as someone who is, a natural target because she's the shiny classic example of, they might perceive in their heads that she has the perfect life. She has fame, fortune, celebrity, she has potentially a loving family, and they want to tear that down because of the fact their life is not like that. Their life isn't like that. Their life is hardship, their life is challenge and struggle. They're poor and making life harder every day because of the fact that they can't get out of that. And that's what they then want, is they want to tear down the idea of a Charli D'Amelio. They want to tear down the idea of, you have exploited what you were naturally given well. And there's nothing really wrong with that. That is the capitalist ideal. But I hate you because of the fact you have become something that you have only got the capacity to do in a modern society. And I hate you because you have everything I don't.
I think that's very true. And actually thinking about it from that perspective for a moment, this new family channel that they have created on YouTube and this new show where they have a guest come to dinner, I mean, in a way, it is incredibly tone deaf. And I mean, I personally can understand seeing it, being a bit slighted by it. You know, so many people in 2020 are struggling. So many people have lost their jobs. Poverty's at like a real high. People are struggling to put food on the table. And then there's this family of people, one of the girls being 16, one being 19, and they decide to start a show where they have famous people come on. They show and parade the fact that they have a private chef, and they do it in their mansion. And it feels very much in an, and this isn't to defend people that are giving death threats, but it does feel very much like, are you really trying to flex the fact that you are doing well when so many people, especially in America, are not doing well because of everything that's happened in 2020? It seems like maybe it's a little insensitive to a lot of people. And I could see that being a way that people have perceived it. And I could understand people potentially taking out their rage, their jealousy, the unfairness of it all on Charli, because even if she's the youngest member of the family, she is the most famous. She is the most successful. And I could very much see that as people kind of saying, yeah, we don't really like that you're parading your private chef and moaning about this food that your private chef made for you. Like, most people could only dream of ever having a private chef. So to then be like, oh, I'd rather have chicken nuggets, even though she's only 16, and even though I'm fairly certain it was a joke or it was put in there for shock value, I can understand a lot of people being like, seriously? Having a private chef and 95 million followers isn't enough. You need 100 million, and you'd rather just cook yourself some chicken nuggets and sit in your mansion. I guess that's very potentially something a lot of people feel, but they don't really know how to put that in words. So they just go to Charli's profile and just take out their momentary anger on the 16-year-old girl, forgetting completely that she is only a 16-year-old girl.
And I think that is something that happens when you hit a mass of people. I think that it happens that there's a certain critical point where you have a certain number of followers, you have a certain number of people, you have a certain amount of hero worship on one side and villainization on the other side, that brings you to the point, unfortunately and tragically, that people don't see you as a person anymore. They see you as a symbol. And when they see you as a symbol, they want to tear you down, because we shouldn't idolize other humans at this level. We shouldn't worship other people at this level. But now we're in a state where we can. Now we're in a state where we have such a massive amount of people, such a massive capacity as a platform, that the love and the hate stretch to absolute extremes. And tragically, it means that we have normalized, people making death threats.
Absolutely. If anyone has any voice memos or questions or comments or anything that you want to send in, we're going to be wrapping up soon, so send them in now. One thing I would like to say is, I am quite active on social media. I mean, if we look at my accounts on Instagram, I have about 4,000. On Twitter, I'm close to 1,000. And then I started my YouTube channel where I have about 350 subscribers. And even that, then me kind of laughing at the fact that I only have 350 subscribers on my YouTube channel goes to show how people get so to so many influencers who are numbers. Because actually, if I was to imagine 350 people turning up to an event purely to hear me speak, that's a lot of people that want to hear me speak, that want to share in whatever content I'm giving. And 4,000 people on Instagram is a lot of people that are interested in seeing photos and engaging. But because we're so used to hearing other people talk about their millions of followers, it makes it feel like 350 or 4,000, which are big numbers. It makes them feel so small, and it's not surprising that we've gotten to a point where many people are not able to conceptualize that number of people. I mean, as you said earlier, Chris, you cannot conceptualize having 100 million people turn up to a place to watch you dance. Like, if you took that off of TikTok and put that into real life, you cannot conceptualize what that must be like. So of course it's understandable that 100 million is kind of a number to Charli at this point. And it's kind of sad that people that have hundreds of subscribers on YouTube or whatever feel like that's not enough, feel like that doesn't make them successful, feels like they're doing something wrong because they don't have these millions, when in actuality, it's still a lot of people. And I think that's a big part of this. And I think a lot of people are angry with Charli for her kind of saying, I want to hit 100 mil, like it's just a number. And I mean, there are certain channels on YouTube where people almost beg for new subscribers. And I personally feel a bit slighted, because I'm like, oh, so you're not happy with the subscribers that you already have? Like, you're not thankful for us? And I think a lot of influencers forget to actually thank their subscribers and say that they appreciate their subscribers. They just take them for granted. And I mean, we've spoken about it a lot, haven't we, Chris, about the fact that numbers that would usually be considered big are no longer considered big.
I think you've made...
And also something that comes with that is that also you get people online that say, well, you only have 350 subscribers on YouTube, so you don't have the right to have an opinion of any other YouTuber that's doing better than you, because you don't have enough followers for that or subscribers for that. And it means that our personal opinions and our voice is being silenced by certain people because they say we don't have a big enough following, when actually, if you put that together, if you put my numbers together, just over 5,000 followers is a big number, but it doesn't feel like it anymore.
I think you've made a great point, though. I think that the thing we need to do is we need to slow it down, remember that there's a person behind the idea. You know, we need to be a bit more empathetic and say, that is a person. I wouldn't say that to their face. So let's not.
Exactly.
You know, let's get that trash off the internet. And we need to sort of accept that, yeah, show gratitude, be thankful, you know, try and better yourself, set yourself goals, but acknowledge those who are following, acknowledge those who are supporting you, because that's what they want. That's all they want, is to be acknowledged, you know, and it's easy to do. It's easy to say thank you to everyone who is following me. You know, let's share my platform. I'm trying to do my best for you. I'm trying to entertain you all, you know, and that's kind of where we should be. Celebrities should be grateful for the platforms that they are given, you know, and happy to put the work in. But then fans should acknowledge it's a person.
Yeah.
You know, they are a person. You wouldn't say that to someone's face unless you really hated them. You know, you wouldn't go up to someone and say, I think you should kill yourself. It's not cool. Let's behave ourselves online. Let's do better. Let's be better. You know, be grateful and, you know, remember it's a person.
Yeah. And actually thinking on that for a moment, I have to actually just realize that I don't know if I've actually thanked my subscribers in my videos. And that makes me feel really bad. So I'm going to have to make sure that I remember to thank everyone. But I think I think we're going to wrap up there. If you've listened to the whole thing with us now live, then thank you. If you're listening to this after it's already happened, I guess, then I hope you've enjoyed it. I think we're going to try and plan to do this every Sunday around this time. So if you want to come and find me on Twitter, I'm kezandunicorns, all one word, on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. If there's something you'd like to hear us talk about next week, come find us and let us know. And one thing I would just say is, you know, we chose to do it on stereo because it enables you guys to be able to, you know, send in voice notes and to share your opinions on it as well. So hopefully we can get some good conversations going from next week onwards, basically. Anything else you want to add, Chris?
No, I just want to say that it's God bless America.
You're British.
But without America, we wouldn't have these situations. No, we wouldn't have these situations. We wouldn't have this stuff to talk about. So you know, God bless America. Right now, you know, I think they need it more than anywhere else in the world.
I would agree on that wholeheartedly, for sure. Okay, well, thank you for listening, guys. Thank you to anyone that, you know, has chosen to come follow us, and yeah, we'll schedule in our next chat, and hopefully you'll come join us for that too. Cool. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And as I said, Kez and Unicorns, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Come find me. We can have a chat. You can let us know what you'd like to hear us chat about next week. And we'll see you then. Okay? Chris? Okay?
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.